Who's got the gun with the silencer? Be la HUERO shryock. A dozen mafiosi sat in a San Gabriel Valley motel room, talking about guns and murder. There was the crunch of potato chips as Perico Ochoa pulled them from a small bag while he listened. But it was Shy's deep voice that resonated across the room from the chair where he sat in the corner. He wanted someone killed. I don't know if you ever heard of this brother named Dido from El Monte Hicks. He continued. He explained that Dido was a 44-year-old Anthony Moreno, a Mexican mafia member who had dropped out more than a decade earlier and now lived in a small rental property not far from HUERO SHY in El Monte. And mafia rules were blood in, blood out as far as Shy was concerned. Dido had earned himself a death sentence for leaving La M. But there are all kinds of people in the pad. There's a whole bunch of youngsters and kids and all kinds of shit, so I gotta figure out how to. I need a silencer is what I need. Shy leaned forward and told those gathered at this January 4th, 1995 MM meeting that Dido was also hanging out with another mafia dropout. Shy leaned forward and told those gathered at this January 4th MM meeting Dido was hanging out with Tito from Norwalk. Tito was 35-year-old Gustavo Aguiar, another heavily tattooed mafia dropout. Both he and Dido were hardcore heroin addicts, and word on the street that Dido was representing himself as MA and taxing people. Tito was ripping off drug connections who had been paying taxes to HUERO SHY and the Mexican mafia. HUERO SHY first and foremost wanted Tito dead. I just want to kill him. I don't want to. I mean, there's kids in there and everything in that house, man, said HUERO. During this past year, HUERO SHY had been working real close with a camarada he felt had gone way above and beyond the call of duty. He was 25-year-old Luis PELON MACIEL from a gang called El Monte Flores. PELON was a small man, just 5 feet 7 inches tall and 130 pounds with a shaved head and a scraggly mustache. He had been a gang member for only a few years. Before that, he was into disco music and had long hair and belonged to a party crew called Showtime that made the rounds at all the flyer parties. He went to jail just for traffic tickets, and a few weeks later, he wanted to come out being a hardcore gangbanger. One of his homies said that he literally changed overnight. He was jumped into the gang around 1993. The same day, he went out and had a big EMF tattoo on his stomach. A homie that wants to remain anonymous said that they never saw him around the neighborhood. And now, all of a sudden, he wanted to make a name for himself. He hooked up with another EMF gangster named Carlos Diablo de la Cruz. They started doing armed robberies, extortions, robbing border brothers, robbing hookers and pimps. And then eventually they started working for MM member Frankie B. Buelna, and then got busted and went back to prison. That's when HUERO SHY Shryock took over the area. A year earlier, El Monte Flores gangsters did a drive-by shooting on a rival gang, accidentally killing one of the kids. Baby killing is not acceptable in La M. And the mafia sent PELON MACIEL to handle the gang members from his gang. He stabbed his own homeboy 35 times. Amazingly, the target lived, but the statement was made: no baby killings. It was April 2nd, 1995, and mafiosi, a deadly dozen, were meeting again at a local motel to discuss their business. Again, they didn't know the hotel room was secretly being videotaped by the FBI. HUERO SHY wanted to make PELON a made man of the Mexican mafia. But he was quickly asked in the hotel room by the other brothers, "Who is this guy? What's his name? None of us here ever heard of him or know him."